She said if you want to qualify for something like an FHA 203K, you can, you have 3.5% down, that you have a lot bigger buyer pool. And, you can get an approved contractor with the FHA and, or with HUD. And that will allow him to sell better. And the idea she gave him was to just take out the boilers. So by
Mm,
taking out the boilers, you already have them. They're brand new. They're good to go. They're
yeah.
working. Just take them out, and then you can have a contractor that you hire through the program, and then they could just put them back in, and then you pay them a small fee. It saves him time, and it gets his deal going. And I think that was very creative of her. And so, something that people don't traditionally think of when it comes to, like, for example, creative financing,
Yeah.
because it takes the money aspect out of the equation and is focusing more on the logistics, right?
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds. And as I always say, I'm very, very excited to be with you today. I am excited to have my guest with me. We've been talking a little bit, and I'm glad and happy for him to come and kind of take you into his world. Man, this guy, he's made some incredible strides in the commercial real estate and investing. He's been landlording over 7 years with 7 years of experience, owner, manager, general manager, partner. I mean, this guy has done a lot. And so I know you are going to benefit from his unique lens. And so I'm excited to introduce you to Mr. Robert Astacio. How did I do, man, on that last name, brother?
On point.
On point. Yo, I listen, y'all need to know I was practicing. Y'all don't need to know that, but I'm telling you anyway. But I just like to put respect on people named Mr. Robert. And so I'm so excited, man, to have you here today. And I know our listeners are going to take something away from what you have to say in your unique lens. And so if you don't mind, man, I just want to dive in. People may not be familiar with your world and what you do. So give us like a main focus. What's your main focus these days, and what markets are you operating in?
So currently, I'm in, like, the Essex and Bergen County, northern Jersey, very highly gentrified and how do you put it, growing area as far as population goes. A lot of people are coming in from New York City, and that's where a lot of my personal portfolio is concentrated in. And as far as like syndications in the larger, commercial residential space, it's mostly in Dallas, Texas. I like Dallas. It's a strong market. I know it's slowing down quite a bit now. And Austin, especially, is actually taking quite a bit of a hit. But I only see that as an opportunity. So in about maybe 1 or 2 years' time, you'll you'll probably see that market bottom out, and I'm going to be heavily trying to acquire more stuff over there.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Absolutely, man. No, I love it. One of the things we were talking about is, how you can help people with tax advantages. And I don't know if you want to talk about the repositioning of the business as well, but it just seemed like you are focused and got some things going on that, you're trying to transition into. Is that correct?
Yeah, so as I was explaining to you earlier, this area is very tenant friendly, and it makes it harder to do business. And there's also, like, things like, for example, state income tax, which I could easily avoid just by going to Texas or Florida or Nevada. And it just made more sense business wise as a business decision to like get out of here, and I'm in the process of doing that. It's been a little bit slow to transition because of the macroeconomic conditions. I was under contract for my four family for 1.2, and that
Mm.
fell apart because interest rates didn't lower as fast as we expected. And then when the tariffs started to take effect in the negotiating, that kind of made people more tighter with their money. And it's also been affecting, like, you know the speed at which I'm able to rent my units.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. It's not easy, especially in this climate. But I mean, you're still moving forward. You're still making moves. So, mind telling us what's been the key to kind of keeping that machine running smoothly?
So I'm very hands-on with my business, especially like my personal portfolio. Like I do all my own self-managing, and I'm the one who's doing the running around. Like even when it comes to like getting material, and I understand that's probably not the most time-efficient thing to do. I should probably leverage like some sort of project manager. My thing and like I was telling you before, like there's pros and cons to that. You first of all, you have to pay someone to do that, and on top of that, they can mess up. They're not going to care the same way you care because it's your business, and that's fine. So for the time being, it makes sense because, like I said, I'm trying to reposition. So when I get down over into the Sunbelt area and I'm looking for deals, I can scale a lot easier and function more efficiently. And then I can consider, hiring somebody to do the day to day stuff. I've just been trying to, like, uh, you know, be boots on the ground, just keep
Yeah,
everything in line, keep a tight ship, be a
yeah,
captain essentially. And
absolutely.
that means getting your hands dirty, rolling up your sleeves, grabbing yourself by the bootstraps, and taking the helm, because sometimes contractors fall short. They do things like wrong or incorrect, because when you're trying to quote prices and stuff like that, you want to get the best price, but sometimes you sacrifice quality for price, or you sacrifice price for quality. And you have those trade-offs to make. And on my own personal portfolio, I try to save as much money as I can so I can reinvest as much money as I can, and try and save on taxes as well, so that in the long term, because I'm sure the compound effect is the seventh wonder of the world, and in 10, 20, 30 years time, those little bit of savings, they add up. Little drops of water make a mighty ocean. So and that's how I've just been trying to run it, as clean and squeaky and as well maintained as possible.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah. Nah, man, thank you for that. So well said. And I hear you, man, especially, it'd be nice if we can clone people, clone ourselves, right? Clone ourselves, that somebody to think like us, that would make the same decisions that we make, it's hard, sometimes relinquishing that trust. You got to come behind somebody and clean with the mess. Sometimes it's just working double time. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I get it. I get exactly what you mean now. I know you mentioned the $1.2 million deal that did not go through, and that's something that we like to do here. We like to talk about times when things get real, right? When things go sideways, times when we have to pivot fast. And so, you mind telling us a little bit more, Eva, about that one, or another time when things kind of didn't go your way? You mind telling us a story like that?
So, a lot of the things that I've experienced, I think, are more like kind of like, not that they're unheard of, like they're more common. And, because I've only been doing this for, yeah, like about 7 years, right? So,
Yeah. Mhm.
a lot of the stuff I've experienced is, stuff you hear probably more or less in the space. Though I do maybe want to touch on some of the experiences my mother's had since she's been in the business 35 years. And I like to leverage other people's experience, because it
Absolutely.
saves me time and it saves me the trouble. And she obviously doesn't want me to make the same mistakes she did. So, actually, if I have some notes here, I could probably reference if you don't mind.
Please. Absolutely,
Um,
man.
so, one time my mother had a partner. I won't mention his name, but he was having trouble selling a mixed use building, and that he did really nice, and it was in a good area. I
Mm,
don't remember what area it was exactly, but my mom gave him a clever idea. And the for example, the idea was, he wasn't able to sell his building, and from what my mom can analyze is the fact that for that particular building, because it was a mixed use, you're going to need like 20 to 30% down, and it was in a good area, so it was very expensive. So
mm,
the way she looked at it was, you have a very small buyer pool, like it's very niche, especially for something like
mm,
that. So she said, if you want to qualify for something like an FHA 203K, you can, you have 3.5% down, that you have a lot bigger buyer pool. And, you can get an approved contractor with a FHA and, or with HUD. And that will allow him to sell better. And the idea she gave him was to just take out the boilers. So by
mm,
taking out the boilers, you already have them. They're brand new. They're good to go. They're
yeah.
working. Just take them out, and then you can have a contractor that you hire through the program, and then they could just put them back in, and then you pay them a small fee. It saves him time, and it gets his deal
Mm,
going. And I think that was very creative of her. And so, something that people don't traditionally think of when it comes to, like, for example, creative financing,
yeah.
because it takes the money aspect out of the equation and is focusing more on the logistics, right?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
the logistics of the process
Absolutely.
of getting people to qualify versus, trying to look for people who have more money to put down, like 200, 300,000, whatever it is. So,
Yeah.
that's one story. Um I had a story with the let's see here. Uh my mom had a story with where she was no, it was a client of hers was buying the same parcel of land, but it had two different deeds.
Mm,
And these are things that you don't really see or even think of when you traditionally enter into the real estate space. And another story I can give you is my mom had a client who was looking to buy a house who wanted good schools, but she didn't want Newark. And what happened was they couldn't afford anything else but Newark. And there was
yeah.
this house that was its property line. Well, it was a Newark house, but a corner of the parcel of land on the lot was Bloomfield. And
Hmm.
even though you only pay a small portion of taxes on that, her kids could still go to Bloomfield schools based on that, pro rata. So,
Yeah.
and there are a ton of different stories that like tax lien foreclosures, for example. And I've heard stories like from other people, not necessarily my mom. And this also comes with the benefit of networking with people in the New Jersey area. You get to hear their stories too. Of they buy a tax lien for like back then at least for like $5,000, right? And after 2 years they can foreclose and um get the property and then sell it on the market for whatever was left over, and that wipes out all other existing liens, so like bank
Yeah.
liens and other stuff. The only thing that would come before it would be like maybe like a government lien. I know that though they are, just to update, they are cracking down on that because
Hmm.
there are other states that ruled that you're essentially stealing equity from the homeowner and you cannot use the
Hmm.
state as a system to gain profit. So there are changes in that space, and tax liens are less attractive because of that, but they're still very attractive because a lot of them first of all, 80%, I think it's 80% of homeowners redeem the lien. So, and if you're bidding down from 18%, which is legally where the bidding starts for most states, some states and some areas it's 25%. You can get 7, 8, or 10 or 12% on your money just for owning that lien. So yeah, there's I've heard of a ton of stories of like for example, uh what is it, I've heard stories of uh I remember when me and my mom, we had this house on 4th Street, and I personally helped do the demo of the interior, and they had knob and tube wiring in the house, and a lot of people don't even know what that is. And basically back in like the late 1800s, like what they used to do is they would run tubes for gas, right? And they would power lamps. It was basically the old form of electricity, and the gas would
Yeah.
run through the tubes and into the house and power the lamps that were within the house before, they had, normal wiring. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I have a ton of stories. I don't
Yeah.
even know where to begin, and a
Oh
lot of them
man, you'd have
aren't
shared there
mine.
plenty.
Yeah, a lot of the stories
Yeah.
aren't mine because, like I said, I
Yeah. Yeah.
haven't been
Yeah.
in that space that long. A lot of the stuff I've dealt
Gotcha.
with is pretty cookie cutter.
Gotcha. But now, man, I thank you. Thank you for sharing. I thank you for your unique perspective in your storytelling, man. I appreciate that. So let me ask you this: what are you next focused on solving? Like, what's your next real goal?
I want to be. I do want to scale more, and I also want to be more hands off, and I want to own my time. So
Yeah.
um, I'm only 27 years old, but I think in 3 years, once like I reposition from here over down to where I want to go, I can leverage, other people's time, other people's money, and I could scale a lot faster while also taking it a little bit easier myself and focus on other things that I would like to do, not
Yeah,
necessarily. So I do like real estate, but I like it more as for the means it provides and what it can do for me, more so than like genuinely enjoy it like as kind of like a sport. You know what I mean?
gotcha.
So
No,
like
no.
I'm trying to, scale and um uh, what is it called? Delegate more.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, man. And I love it. I think I know you talked about kind of leveraging other people's experience, right? Like when you got somebody who can come in and give you the experience to kind of save you time, it almost like catapults you, right? Slingshots you, right? So let me ask you this: when it comes to building relationships and growing your network, what's made the biggest difference for you?
I would say uh probably say the relationships. I think
Yeah,
that's made the biggest difference because even my mother only knows so much, right? You can only do so much yourself. And the truth of the matter is, no matter whether you're in real estate or venture capital, big tech, whatever it is, whatever space you're in, y- you have to leverage other people. And to build wealth, you need other people to build wealth. It's an app. You could sit on a gold mine, but if gold was invaluable, if no one wanted it, it's useless. All right.
right. Yeah,
And like here, like I'll give a visual. Like, this all this is cotton and linen. And it's 75% cotton, 25% linen. A lot of people don't know that. But it's a means for barter, right? It's a means for trade, it's a means for exchange. But this is constantly being printed and losing value, right? So
hmm
you need to exchange with other people, not just money and assets and stuff like that, but experience and trade, because I- I'm not an expert in plumbing. I have to hire a plumber for that, and I want a good plumber. Like, even if I did know plumbing, I want someone who has experience and the knowledge and the dexterity to work in that space. And that goes for any field. It could be taxes.
yeah,
I'm very astute, and I like to learn a lot about a little things. But that just makes it so that I can vet whoever I'm dealing with, who I want to do the work and to do it well, more efficiently. So because I can only do so much myself, and I'm also bound to make a mistake eventually, and I'd like to have someone fact check me.
yeah, yeah. Yep. So very well said, man. I definitely agree, and I love your perspective for sure, man. But listen, before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, maybe collaborate with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you, man?
So you can reach out to me at Longhorn Investing LLC at Gmail. That's typically the email I use for syndications and anything real estate related. And you can shoot me an email, and if we can work together, I'd love to explore that. Yeah. I'm also on
Well,
Facebook and
listen,
Instagram too.
absolutely, man, absolutely. Well, listen, everyone, there he is, Mr. Robert Astacio. Listen, man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your story. I appreciate your perspective. Thank you so much for coming through, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Definitely. And for those tuning in, you know what I like to say, you have to make sure you're subscribed. We have great conversations coming up and you do not want to miss it. And so until the next time, you have a great
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.